Namaste. Welcome to Bull and Beer. I hope you are all doing very good. And definitely after watching this video, you will feel better. And I hope I will be able to help you to become more rich. Actually, today we will talk about another special mutual fund in India, and it is under small cap category. Which is that mutual fund? Today we will talk about Mahindra Manulife Small Cap Mutual Fund. Actually, this is the second or maybe third best mutual fund in terms of returns in small cap category. But before we discuss that, I would like to remind you about happy investing. And what is happy investing is that all the money, all the profits you make from your investments, please try to contribute or donate some part of it for some noble cause. You decide what should be that noble cause, help the way you want to your country, to the people, or make anything that can make this world a better place to live for everyone. And why that so? Because when you do something good, it brings you more good luck and prosperity. It will give you inner peace and happiness. So I request you to do happy investing. Now let's start our today's video and understand what is small cap. So as per SEBI, the companies which are after or below 250th are considered small cap, and where the companies after or below 250th in terms of market capitalization. Now what do we mean by market capitalization? It means the companies where the value is 5,000 crore or below. So those sets of companies are considered into small cap companies. Now let's see why this particular small cap, which is Mahindra Manulife, is second or third best mutual fund in small cap category, and why and how it is giving that returns. Now let's look at last 1 month performance of this mutual fund, and if you will see, it has given a return of about 7.70%, which is quite good. And if you see, it is on the rise in the last 1 month. But last 1 month is not enough. We need to have a wider look. I usually try to look at least last 1 year before I invest in any mutual fund, because 1 year is minimum tenure we should look while investing in mutual funds. Some people consider 3 to 5 years as well. I also like to have a look at that, but I would not completely invest by looking at 3 to 5 years, because that would be too long in terms of the time horizon. But definitely 1 year gives you a fair idea. Now let's look at last 6 months, and that is very important because I think Indian economy, India as a country is going a lot of roller coaster in the last 6 months. And if you see Mahindra Manulife small cap, it is growing in the last 1 2 months, but it has some dips. But now, are these dips only for this particular small cap or in general? Now the answer is, these dips you will see for all mutual funds, whether they are large, mid cap, small cap, nifty, or any other index. And these dips happen because of other macro economic or macro reasons. Like for example, there was one dip, there was some news in the media, it was a negative news about a particular scam, and that's when that dip happened. There was another dip during the elections time, just before the results and just after the results, because the expectations in terms of the number of seats the current government will get, and so on. So these dips are actually very generic in nature. They're not specific to this particular small cap mutual fund, and I would not worry about them, because this is part of the nature. This is how the financial markets work. But the good thing is, small cap has high risk, but it also gives you high returns. So apart from certain mutual funds such as infrastructure or PSU in India, I would say small cap has high potential. Though Mahindra Manulife is not my favorite, and I will tell you in a minute which ones are my favorite and why they are my favorite. But if you are purely looking for return on investment and you are looking for about 1 year of term, I would recommend Mahindra Manulife. But if you're looking for a little longer duration, then there are other options which I'm gonna talk in a minute. But now let's look at 1 year, because this is very important. As I said, 1 year gives you a fair amount of idea. And if you see in the last 1 year, this particular mutual fund, which is Mahindra Manulife Small Cap, is giving good returns. So it has given almost 70.99%, or let's say 71%. So if you have invested 10 rupees, it would have become around 17 to 18, which is not a bad return. If you see mutual funds, that is kind of a good return, and it is growing and it will grow further, because small cap companies are the companies which has a lot of potential to grow, and these are the companies where there are high risk as well, but at the same time they grow very fast, and they give very high returns. So that is why these mutual funds carry high risk and but also high return. And always please listen to everyone, including me, in this video, but please do your own homework, take your own decision. This is my personal view and opinion, but I request you to do your own analysis before investing any money in any kind of financial markets, because they carry some risk. Now, another thing which is important is to look at the holdings. I have made another video which is actually giving the highest return in small cap category, which is Bandhan Small Cap, and it has holdings which is almost double the size of Mahindra Manulife, around 140 plus. Now, what are these holding means? Holding means actually whatever money you are gonna put in this small cap mutual fund, and everyone else in this mutual fund, the fund manager will take that money and gonna invest in certain companies. So holding means the list of those companies where your money is invested. Now if you see, I personally feel when the companies or the holdings are too many, it is little difficult to manage. Though you also divide your risk, because then more the companies, the lower the risk, because not all companies will go bankrupt, or not all companies will do bad. But at the same time, it is difficult to judge how they're gonna perform. Whereas smaller the portfolio or the holdings, it is easier for fund managers to track the performance. So I personally like the mutual funds where the holdings are not too many. But in this fund, it's 74, and it's kind of still high, but still manageable. And if you see, the biggest investment is in Century Textiles and Industries. And there are few other companies like CESC, REC, Indus Towers, Reliance, Cholamandalam, where the investment is above 2%. And I think all these companies, when I look at all the holdings, they're pretty good and stable companies. And I personally feel they're gonna grow further. So there is no as such risk while investing in this mutual fund. But I will tell you which are my favorites after a few minutes, and kindly keep on listening to me. And also please follow, like and comment, share your views if you have invested and how was your experience, and if you have not invested, which other mutual funds have you invested, so that our viewers can learn and share their views as well. And it is about helping each other. Now, as I said, another thing which is important is to see in which sectors your money is invested, because that is equally important. You do not want to invest in a sector, maybe the company is good but the sector is going down. Sometimes you hear there is a property bubble burst, or you see the IT is not doing well. So even though the companies may be good in these sectors, but if these sectors are not performing well, then your investments will not be fruitful. Now let's see in this particular mutual fund which sectors the money is invested. So the Actually, the biggest is others, because they are not a one specific category, they're mixed. But I will say the majority is into financial, construction, mining, energy, and services sector, which are very important sectors, because India is gonna grow. India is a growing country. It is a very important economy. It is the fastest growing economy in the world. So I would say, in terms of the sector allocation, this mutual fund is quite diversified, and this particular mutual fund is quite well placed in terms of where the money should be split, and it is in multiple sectors, which gives you peace of mind that again, if one sector goes, at least the remaining are performing well. Now let's come to the most important thing, and that's, now I'm gonna tell you which ones are my favorite when we look at small cap category. Now before that, let's see the return. So why I said second or third best, because this mutual fund, which is Mahindra Manulife, is competing with Quant in terms of returns for 1 year time horizon, and at some websites it says 67% for Mahindra Manulife and 68% for Quant, which is very close, and they are kind of changing very fast all the time because the markets are dynamic. But doesn't matter. Actually, the second best return is about 68%, and the first is about 70+%, which is Bandhan Small Cap. Now, if you see other funds in the category average, they're giving like slightly less, which is 56%. And that is why this is the second or third best mutual fund in small cap category. But now let's do the peer comparison, and now I'm going to answer you which are my favorites. But let's see the peers. So some of the other mutual funds in small cap category which are pretty good are Quant and Nippon. You will see in this picture that Quant is giving almost same or even higher. Actually, again, it is keep on changing because the markets are dynamic, but they are almost at the same place. So Quant is one of my favorites. The reason is because the holdings in Quant are even better than Bandhan and Mahindra Manulife, and likewise Nippon has the same story. Nippon actually is the biggest small cap mutual fund in terms of the AUM, or the total money in the fund is big as compared to all others. So Nippon and Quant are my favorite, but I also suggest you to consider Axis Nifty 50 small cap, which is also one of my favorites. But you can simply see the returns. If you're purely looking for returns, Mahindra Manulife is not a bad idea, and you can consider some part of your investment into this. But the peer comparison clearly shows that it is one of the good small cap mutual funds. Now, before we finish today's video, I would like to mention about expense ratio. So, in my other video, Bandhan small cap has an expense ratio of 0.33, whereas in Mahindra Manulife it's 0.25, which is lower. But I don't think that's a big deal, but still, some people wants to see the expense ratio. Exit load for this one is 1% within 3 months, whereas in Bandhan small cap it's 1% within 1 year. So the good thing is, if you feel that you may need the money at any point of time and within a shorter duration, then maybe you invest in this so that you can withdraw without any exit load. The last thing is the fund manager. There are 2 fund managers in this, Abhinav Khandelwal and Manish Lodha. They have been in this for little less than 2 years, but they are doing pretty well. So I think they have the right experience and skills to manage this particular fund, and the companies are quite diversified, and the companies where the money is invested is doing pretty well. So that way this particular mutual fund is good. But again, before we finish today's video, consider Nippon, Quant, Axis Nifty 50 in small cap category along with Bandhan and Mahindra Manulife. But thank you for watching today's video. I wish you good luck, prosperity and good health. Thank you so much. Namaste.